I got upset because a doctor on YouTube claimed that mold cannot be helped with binders, and that there's no scientific proof, and that's not true. But basically, all the pills that he recommends, I've put it on this little photo slide that you can get almost everything in your food and in your diet. And I have extensive research on my website that you can also download this on PDF, because I know this is going to be kind of quick, and I'm just putting this up on YouTube to dispute what this man and several other doctors are talking about. They are so in the dark ages, but almost everything can be healed through diet. You don't need to go through a bunch of pills unnecessarily. There are some supplements that over 38 years I have researched, and they are necessary because I cannot, and many like me cannot, get it in the food. But overall, you can get it in your food, and it's really quite simple to alter your diet. And my smoothie pretty much covers everything that nutritionally you will need. I consider it my main meal of the day. And if anyone needs help, by all means, do contact me. Over a year ago, I did all this research, and I can't believe that I didn't record it. And what it's about is internal toxemia. Now, people with mold illness, multiple chemical hypersensitivities, fibromyalgia, which now has been linked to mold, in fact, by some science research and doctors in Europe. The fact is that I spent 42 years in and out of hospitals. That's half my life. I'm 80 years old. And not once did any doctor, specialist from New York, Toronto, Vancouver, and back. I'm not going to talk about Sudbury, my hometown, because they're in the dark ages. But nobody ever talked about constipation. Now, in my particular case, I started to cripple at 6 years old. I was poisoned with sulfuric acid. And it's pretty obvious, if you're logical, that if my legs were crippling and I was taking crippling attacks, the brain signal to my legs is extremely weak. It's not that my muscles are weak, it's that the brain signal to my legs are weak, because I danced. As long as I'm on the flat, I was beautiful. I moved like a swan. I was incredible, but I couldn't lift my body weight up that much. And I'm in severe pain right now. Migraine, my eyes are killing me, and my entire body is on fire. And it was from constipation. And I have all that research I did a year ago on foods that are high in water-soluble fiber, which means it retains water so that the stool stays soft and doesn't get hard, because if it gets hard, it'll cause bleeding. And insoluble fiber, which means your digestive system won't break it down. It's like straw, but it'll help push it out. And if you eat too much of that kind of fiber, such as, say, bran or senecot, you're going to get diarrhea. And being blocked and constipation, actually diarrhea is preferable, because what happens is that the toxins from the stool turns to chemicals that go into your bloodstream, that go into your brain. And many of us with chronic illnesses don't even realize that the food that we're eating, such as eggs, protein, meat, there's no fiber. It's like you might as well eat cement. It's not going to move. And unless you're a healthy, extremely healthy person, and your exercise is really up there, protein's not going to move through your system without a great deal of water-soluble food, such as squash, sweet potatoes, or insoluble fiber, such as green string beans, corn. The skin on the corn is not going to be digested or broken down, and it'll although you're going to get carbs from that, and on a par with high inflammation that we suffer from is carbohydrates. So many of us go through such depression, being so sick and in so much pain, that we turn to, well, I know what I did. I turned to chips, sour cream. That was the only thing that was healthy, and chocolate bars. Other people turn to sugars and donuts and cakes and all kinds of stuff like that. That is extremely high in an inflammatory food, and next to constipation. So I'm making this going to be a photo slide. I'm going to type it all up because it's taken me. I can't believe that I didn't keep a copy for myself. I did all this research. It took me months last year. I had my diet 100% under control. I was eating organic beets, and I was eating squash, and I was eating mushrooms, which is a really good fiber and a high vegetarian protein. And I laid off the cheese, and I was very low on meat, other than chicken and eggs, but I made sure that with that I had water-soluble fiber, and I didn't keep a copy. Ding, ding. But I had copies from 18 years ago, research I did for my mother on Paget disease, osteoporosis, and gout, and I have all kinds of copies of that. I have copies of the diet for weight loss that I did for Dan in 2009 when he was over 225 pounds. And I have all kinds of diets that I did for other people, but I didn't cover the constipation because truthfully, nobody ever talks about constipation. Now, I even went to everybody talks about parasites. Well, I don't know where you're getting all those parasites. What are you doing? Sitting in the mud or what? Unbelievable how people are getting so much parasites. I don't know how they're doing it. But anyway, I was so freaked out. This is going back about 4 years ago. I did all kinds of stool tests. I was sure that the parasites were killing me. I don't have any parasites. And I never did have. I don't know why that's become such a popular topic, but maybe there's something to do with eating raw foods in the South full of worms and maggots. I don't know. But speaking of maggots, I destroyed my paradise in Wasaga Beach by buying in bulk form pecans, and they were full of eggs and turned to maggots, and the whole kitchen was exploded with maggots, and I had to move right away because they had no choice. This was a wonderful paradise I was in. People, I had thousands of support, and by geez, they had to use chemical spraying, which means I had to move out. I would never be safe to live there again. And I don't know why that happened to me, but anyway, it did. So you got to watch when you buy food in bulk. I don't do that anymore. I make sure I buy organic in little packages, but make sure it's in containers, because I had bought it in a bulk store and I left it in a soft plastic bag, and in the heat in the summer, the darn things hatched and broke through the bag. Oh my God, what a nightmare that was. Yeah, I've had the most insane things happen to me in my life. You name it, I've been through it. From violence to rapes to fraud to... Anyway, I'm kind of babbling because I'm in extreme pain, and I'm kind of angry with myself that I've done all this research for allergies and mold and Parkinsonism, and the list is endless, and I'll type it up on the page, and I left out constipation because it's a #1 killer. And I mean, by that I mean, well, it's a #1 painkiller, let's put it that way. Okay, I know this is too long, and I'm going to type everything up for you to make it easy. Now, I did do some research on supplements that there are doctors recommending on YouTube, and I disputed that you have to take all these pills, and I'm going to attach that to the constipation program, because some of the nutrients and supplements and detox that is necessary besides okra and besides beets and beet juice, there may be others, and I have made a complete video on a subject on that. So I'm going to attach it to constipation. Okay, over and out. And yes, and check your stool, people. I use a flashlight, and stop feeling ashamed about this. We have to talk about these things, and if it's hard, that's bad. If it's too soft, that's bad. You got to check the color. You got to check to see if the food is being digested. And for years, I kept a journal, and I lost that too when my Microsoft crashed. But anyway, there are ways to increase your diet, no matter how chronically ill you are, and no matter how slow your bowel is moving, because mine moves so slow, it might as well be stopped. And if I eat any carbs, I joke saying if I eat a carrot, I gain a pound. But that's because my bowels don't move, and so they dehydrate. So I have to add fiber, water-soluble fiber to it. Just drinking water is not good enough. It goes right through me. I pee it out. So this is for those of us with chronic illness. We are what we eat, and this is basically about foods that will help with constipation. Now, I know there's going to be a watermark on it. May be hard to read some of it. I hope you will go to my website, because it'll be there in PDF and you can download the entire series. But this is something people just don't talk about, and it's taken me a long time to reload and find my own research that I frankly lost last year when I got a diesel attack, and I kindly went completely off my own program and my own diet, and I've been really sick since April. So do try and pay attention to constipation. I took to the streets to save people from suffering as I did. God bless. I'm making this a really short little video. It's a quick fix of 5 days of okra in frozen chopped, add last to soup, and you will be amazed what it's going to do to your brain and your body. Now, if you can't tolerate okra, there are other binders, of course, but this is for mold and toxic chemicals, and for people who, one woman suffered for 43 years, and she actually followed my recipe and she got well. And personally, I was poisoned in 1984, and in 1995 it reversed my brain damage. I had been unable to read or write and lost my career and everything, and that story is on my free website, as well as all of the diet research that I have discovered. But this is just quick. If you're too sick to follow anything, well then do that. 5 days, okra and soup, and you will recover.